Hi, myself Vinay Kumar. Welcome to the course Probability and Statistics. So in this course we have 5 modules. Module 1, Basic Probability and Random Variables. In the Basic Probability, we study about basic definitions of the probability, like what is an experiment, event, trial, then addition theorem, multiplication theorem, and respective problems. Then we move to random variables. In the random variables, we study about discrete and continuous random variables. In module 2, we have descriptive statistics. There we study about movements, skewness, kurtosis, etc. Then we'll move to discrete probability distributions. In the discrete probability distributions, we have binomial distribution, Poisson distribution, and multinomial distribution. Then we move to the module 3. In that one, continuous probability distributions, which are normal distribution, exponential distribution, and gamma distribution. Then we study about bivariate random variables. In module 4, we have curve fitting. Using method of least square techniques, we fit straight line, parabola, exponential curve, and power curves. The second part of the module 4 is correlation and regression. Here we study about relation between the variables as well as fitting regression lines for that given data. In module 5, inferential statistics, in that we have sampling distribution, estimation, and hypothesis testing for large and small samples. So this is a course of module 1, syllabus of the module 1, concept topics of the module 1. So the first definition, random experiment. If an experiment is conducted any number of times under essentially identical conditions, there is a set of all possible outcomes associated with it. If the result is not certain and any one of the several possible outcomes, then the experiment is called a random experiment. In simple words, if we don't know the result before, so if whatever the process you are doing, those type of process we called it as random experiment. For example, I'm tossing a coin. I don't know what I'm going to get, whether it is head or tail. So that type of process we called it as an random experiment. Next one, trial. Each performance in a random experiment is called a trial. So collection of trials is nothing but an experiment. So if you are tossing a coin for 100 times, 100 times is nothing but if your experiment is 100 times, then each time you are tossing coin is a trial. So each time when you are tossing a coin, it will come up with either head or tail. So that result we call it as an outcome. So the result of a trial in a random experiment is called an outcome. The next one is event. Every non-empty subset of a sample space of a random experiment is called an event. So non-empty subset of a sample space. Sample space is nothing but it is a collection of all possible outcomes of an experiment. So if you write all the possible outcomes in the form of set, that set we call it as sample space or outcome space. So from that set, if it is non-empty subset, we call it as an event. So here few examples: rolling a dice, tossing a coin, picking card from the pack of cards. These are the examples for the experiment and trial and event. Next one is exhaustive events. All the possible events in any trial are known as exhaustive events. So all the possible events, for example, if I am rolling a dice, so there is a possibilities of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any one of them will be occur. So the maximum number of possible cases is 1 to 6. So we can say that those are the exhaustive events for that event experiment. Similarly, when you are tossing two coins, so there are the possibilities like head head, head tail, tail tail. So those are the possible cases. So we call those possible cases, all possible cases, as the exhaustive events. Next one is sample space. A set of possible outcomes of an experiment is called a sample space, and it is also called outcome space, and it is denoted by capital S. So if you see here, so when you are rolling two dice, so each die is having 6 faces. So total we are rolling two dice so that we will get 36 combinations. Those 36 combinations is like this: 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4. So in this one pair, first pair 1 comma 1, the first one represents the first die outcome. Let us consider the outcome of the first dice is A, and the second one represents the second dice outcome. So in the first die we got 1 and second die also we got 1. So the combination is 1 comma 1. Similarly, remaining pairs also. So 1 comma 2 represents 1 on the first dice, 2 on the second dice. Like that we are getting 36 combinations. So if you write all the 36 combinations in the form of set, that set we are indicating with capital S. This capital S we call it as outcome space or sample space. So in this one, each pair we call it as trial. So each pair 1 comma 4 is a trial, 1 comma 5 is a trial. So every time we call it as a trial. So every non-empty subset, for example, if I want to get the sum as 4, if I want to get sum of two outcomes, A is first dice outcome and B is second dice outcome, and their sum should be equals to 4. So the possible cases to get sum 4 is 1 comma 3 where you are getting sum as 4, 2 comma 2 where we are getting sum as 4, and 3 comma 1 where we are getting sum as 4. So these are the favorable cases. So this is a non-empty subset which is favored to get sum as 4. So this non-empty set we call it as an event. So event is 4. Probability of getting 4 is nothing but 4 by 36. So there are 3 by 36. So if the outcome is favored to you, then we say those events are favorable events. In simple way, we can say, if we are tossing a coin and you are saying you are interested in getting heads, so if that result is also heads, that result is favored to you. So that those type of events we call it as an favorable event. Similarly, as you see in the last example, there are 36 combinations. What are the favorable cases to get sum as 7? So there are 6 possibilities: 1 comma 6, 2 comma 5, 3 comma 4, 4 comma 3, 5 comma 2, 6 comma 1. So in this all cases we are getting sum as 7. So those are the favorable cases to get sum as 7. Equally likely event: a set of events is said to be equally likely if one of them cannot be expected to happen preference to any other. In simple way, we can say if you take the coin and you are tossing it, there is an equal probability of getting head and tail. So what is the possibility of getting head? That is same as the possibility of getting tail. So we can say those two events are equally likely. Similarly, you can tie dice. So 6 faces are there. The probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6, 2 also 1 by 6, 3 also 1 by 6, 4 1 by 6, 5 also 1 by 6, 6 also 1 by 6. So all the 6 events are carrying same probability, so that we can say all are giving same possibility of getting. So we can say those events are equally likely events. Then mutually exclusive events. So the intersection between two events is equals to 0. Then we say those two events are mutually exclusive events. For example, you can see here in flipping a coin, getting head and tail. So getting head is first event and getting tail is second event. So the intersection between head and tail is equals to 0, so that we can say these two events are mutually exclusive events. So if you take the pack of cards, the probability of getting king card pack of cards, if you take the probability of getting king is, there are 4 king cards out of 52. So the probability of getting king card is 4 by 52. So this is my event 1. And similarly, second event is probability of getting ace card. So that is probability of getting a. So probability of getting A is again, there are 4 A cards out of 52. So we can say the probability of getting A card is 4 by 52. So the intersection between these two events, probability of A intersect K intersection A or A intersection K is equals to 0. So that we can say these two events are mutually exclusive events. Classical definition of the probability. So if n is the number of equally likely, mutually exclusive and exhaustive events of the random experiment, out of m outcomes are favorable to the occurrence of an event capital A, then the probability that A occurs, denoted by probability of A, is given by probability of A is equals to number of favorable outcomes capital A by number of exhaustive events. So In simple way, we can say probability of an event is equals to number of favorable cases by total number of exhaustive cases. Okay, the axioms of the probability is always between 0 and 1. Probability of any event you take, that is always between 0 and 1. Sum of all probabilities is equals to 1. So you take you take the sample space capital S. So in the sample space, whatever the elements are there, all the elements respect to probabilities, if you add them, then the total probability is equals to 1. So that is the second axiom of the probability. And third one is, if A and B are mutually exclusive or disjoint, then probability of A or B, or probability of A union B, is equals to probability of A plus probability of B, because probability of A and B or probability of A intersection B is equals to 0 when it is mutually exclusive events. We'll see examples on this. So here is the first example. So what is the probability for a leap year to have 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays? So we know that in a leap year we have 366 days. So in a leap year we have 366 days. So if we divide this leap year with week, in a week we have 7 days. So we get 52 weeks and 2 days. 52 weeks plus 2 days. So in this 52 weeks, it is consisting with 52 Mondays, 52 Tuesdays, 52 Saturdays, like all the 7 days are repeated for 52 times. And this remaining 2 days are 2 consecutive days. Like here is the possibilities, like Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday. So out of this, the question is 52 Mondays is required. Already 52 Mondays is covered in this 52 weeks. Similarly, out of 53, 52 Sundays is also covered. So from this one, we are getting 52 Mondays and 52 Sundays. And one more additional Sunday is required. In the question, they are asking to get 53 Sundays. So out of the 2 days, these are the 2 events which consisting of Sunday. But if we consider the 7th possible case, that is Sunday and Monday, then the question will be become as like 53 Mondays and 53 Sundays. So this is not favor to us. So this is the only situation where we are getting favor to that question. So in this case, if you consider this green color one, Saturday and Sunday, so then the question will be like 52 Mondays, 53 Sundays will be getting satisfied. You don't bother about 53 Saturdays because that is not mentioned in the question. So out of 7 possibilities, this is the only case which is favor to get 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. Therefore, the probability of getting that is 1 by 7. So here is the second example. A class consists of 6 girls and 10 boys. If a committee of 3 is chosen at random from the class, find the probability that 3 boys are selected and exactly 2 girls are selected. So there are 6 girls and 10 boys in the class. So total 16 students are there. Out of 16 students, we are choosing 3 students as a committee. So what is the probability of getting that 3 students as a boys, or out of the 3 students getting 2 girls? So the first question is getting 3 boys. So we have 10 boys. So number of favorable cases is 10 out of 3. So we are choosing 3 boys from the total 10 boys. So in a committee we are choosing 3, and the 3 are boys. So we have 10 boys. So we are choosing 3 out of 10 boys. And total number of exhaustive cases is 16C3. Out of 16 students, we are choosing 3, that 3 students from the boys. So the respective probability is 10C3 by 16C3. Therefore, it is equals to 0.214. Similarly, exactly 2 girls are selected. So in a committee, we required 3 students. So out of the 3, 2 girls are there. So the remaining one is boy. So getting 2 girls, we have total 6 girls. Out of that 6 girls, we are choosing 2. So out of 6, we are choosing 2, so that we represent it as 6C2, and 1 boy out of 10 boys. So 10C1. So total, so the number of favorable cases is 6C2 into 10C1 by total number of exhaustive cases is 16C3. This means out of 16 students, we are choosing 3. That out in that 3 students, 2 are girls and 1 is boy. So the respective probability of getting exactly 2 girls is 6C2 into 10C1 by 16C3. That is equals to 0.2678. With this, we will end up this session. Thank you. Under the description of this video, you can find the link to get this PPT notes. Thank you.